What up, ninjas? Gajo here, and I got an epic review for you guys today, and, well, kind of an unboxing review, more or less. We have the G2 Transformers Bruticus Fall of Cybertron Remold, Remake, Repaint. And look at this bad boy. As you can tell, he's inside of the box still. I haven't even cut him loose from his ties. There's his Decepticon Bruticus, Decepticon Giant Warrior. He is a Decepticon Combiner. Transformers Generation 2 with all the G2 awesome. And I'm going to turn to the side. It just has all the guys on there. And you can see in the back of the box. Here, I'll zoom in on the tech spec. You can see there's the tech spec. And you got a picture of Bruticus' face and weapon, and they all combine to Sonic Cannon. And oh, it's awesome. Robot mode, alt modes. Very cool. And the other side is just nothing really. So, like I said, this is the box. It's actually pretty big because it's kind of hard to keep the whole thing on my review station. I mean, if I back my camera up as far as I could right now, it would not work. It would go to the ceiling and it would fall all over the place and it would hate me. But let's get this guy out of the box and I will come back with that. Okay guys, first off we'll start in vehicle mode. Obviously all the vehicle modes have a purple camouflage theme going on with it, hence the G2 theme of everything. Also, as you can tell, with actually all of them I should say, they all have G2 Decepticon symbols on them. So they're keeping the theme with the Generation 2. And then also, one last thing, just to kind of side note, the instruction booklet is also in the Generation 2 style logos. Everything. It's very cool. Very cool. So let's kind of do this one at a time to make things easier. You know, because usually it's just easier to do one at a time. Move the camera. Okay guys, so now we have Decepticon Brawl in vehicle mode. Obviously he's some sort of floaty tank because he doesn't have any wheels. It's cool though because he does have a spinning turret. I believe the turret can detach a little bit here, and you can kind of do like a thing like that if you really wanted to, I suppose. Also he has his weapon, which is hidden under here. And grab that, it'll pop off. And he has one of the pieces for the Mega Blaster that is to come. So we will move this aside and we will take a look at Brawl here. He's really nice. He's got this Megatron-esque G2 style paint job, very nice Decepticon symbol there, nice black. And overall it's really just decent paint. I mean, you can't really expect much from it because it's a combiner. But all in all, a very excellent paint job. Very excellent paint job. Alright, we got Swindle. Decepticon Swindle right here in his dune buggy kind of Sand Rover mode. He's slightly mistransformed just because I haven't got his arms completely transformed, but pretty sure if you fiddle with it for a while, it'll transform just fine. As you can see, these guys there's not a lot to them because they're all parts, and also each part of this robot can become a hand or a foot. And obviously Swindle's usually the foot, but as you can see in there, there's some hands. So you could turn him into a hand if you wanted to. Obviously he's a dune buggy. He rolls very nicely actually for just being a combiner. And he has this kind of like ion blaster cannon thing that would fit into the black gun here. And it creates kind of a big gun. So, Decepticon Swindle. Really nice. Also, purple G2, you know, paint scheme again, and the kind of like a reddish orange sort of paint job. Really nice. Totally back in the call to the G2. We got our Central Guy Onslaught. Onslaught is some sort of carrier. It looks like that there was maybe some idea of putting a carrier on there, maybe, or not. Who knows? He does have his two cannons up here, but if you do take them off, they kind of like leave his hands exposed, so it's just better just to keep his dual cannon on there. It also fits onto the larger cannon at the end when I get it completely transformed. He also has the G2-esque style paint job with the yellow and the purple, just like the original G2 counterpart. Like I said, he looks like some sort of transport truck. He's not as well transformed as the other ones, but nonetheless, he's still a really nice torso mode. Obviously, he's got his pegs sticking out, but Onslaught's not that bad. In all reality, it could have been better, but, I mean, for what we got, actually, it's pretty decent for a combiner. Okay, and then we got Vortex with a spinny propeller blade. I love spinny propeller blades. That totally makes me smile. You can also take it and smash it in half if you want to make it just 2. Vortex Head 4. So it's completely up to you, obviously. He does have his swords here that come off of him, and they create these weapons that he will be holding eventually when I get him into robot mode. Very nice little purple. On the box, obviously, it shows that these have silver on them and a couple other paint jobs, but, you know, leaves it up to your imagination. Get some silver paint on there myself, it'll probably look badass, but in all reality, I probably won't paint these because I just like the old school style solid color weapon. It just makes me smile. And then obviously Vortex has got a really nice Decepticon symbol on each side of his helicopter mode. He's not too bad, actually. I like this helicopter mode. It's really nice. Kind of looks like a shark. Like Shark Attack. So it's really cool. Obviously he's got his hand shoved in there and such like that. So he's really nice. And finally we come to Blastoff. Blastoff is obviously the spaceship, just hence the name. He's really nice. Stands up like a spaceship. How about that? Purple G2 crap all over the place. I love it. The Decepticon symbol's on his wing over here. I'll just take the gun off. See if I can... Ooh. Gotta be careful, because you don't want to round that peg off too bad. But like I said, there's the Decepticon symbol. Obviously, you can take his other blaster off, and these are the 2 legendary white blasters that you always lose with your Blastoff. And these, obviously, can be fitted together or not. It's up to you, but they are part of the final weapon once again. Alright guys, now that I'm done talking about vehicle mode, I'll move to the robot modes in one moment. Thank you, come piece of game. Okay ninjas, now we have our Combaticons in their robot mode. And all of them look fabulous together, just standing there looking all deluxe-y and stuff. Oh, it's beautiful. Some of them do have some flaws that I'm going to point out, and some of them are just mostly because of transformation. That's why it is. So if you just bear with me, I'm going to do this one at a time, and after that we will transform him into Bruticus. So stay tuned, guys. Okay, ninjas, and we have Onslaught sitting in front of us here in robot mode, particularly, obviously. Onslaught looks really nice. The only thing that I really have a problem with, and I'll zoom in just a little bit more so we can see him better, is the fact that his head kind of tucks into his chest a little bit. It kind of bugs me, but it's not that big of a deal. He does have like head articulation up in there. I wish he just could look back just a little bit more, but you never know. It actually looks kind of cool with his head tucked down in there. He does have some like articulation up here with the ball joint, and it's kind of like a elbow articulation, and the same thing with the other side. He does have his little purple gun, obviously, and then you can get a back shot, and it's just kind of hollow back there. He does have some, his bicep swivel. He has the in and out, but that's ratcheting, and then he has a knee joint, obviously. So that's really cool. Not a bad look for Onslaught. His robot mode is definitely stronger as far as the 2, but obviously his 3rd mode in Bruticus is probably the best, personally. Alright ninjas, and Swindle here with his robot mode, probably one of my more favorite ones as far as the robot mode is concerned, next to Blastoff, which he's my favorite just because he looks badass. As you can tell up in here, he's got a really nice face sculpt. It's kind of got like almost a pudgy face if you can get in there and look at that. He's almost got like a pudgy face. He's like, whoa, no, 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 no. Anyway, he's got that kind of like ion blaster thing. And he actually looks really nice in robot mode. I completely like his robot mode, as you can tell. It's probably one of the stronger ones. It gives you this kind of like fall of Cybertron-y, war for Cybertronian vehicle. It makes you look like he's legit. Obviously, there's really nothing back there other than kind of like this, skeletal structure. But that's okay, because you'd be looking at him like this all the time. And he looks really nice. He is a solid figure, and I would totally say that this is like my second favorite out of them all. Alright, boys and girls, now we have a Decepticon Brawl sitting on the review station. Now, Brawl makes me sad. He's one of the Brawls that I've gotten in my collection first out of all of them that I've decided to pick. And he's not really that strong of a Bruticus piece, and that's why, right there, look at that. He's got like this big black dick hanging down there. Look at this. I mean, if you take it and you flip it forward, bam, right there. That's terrible. Okay, I mean, all the other figures seem to collide together very nicely. I mean, look at this. This is fabulous. Look at that head sculpt is really nice. The back piece, all this, the paint job, the arms are actually really nice. The gun's really nice. I mean, he's a really nice robot. His legs could be a little bit better because the toes are kind of loose on mine. So he likes to fall forward. He doesn't have much ankle support, or I should say heel support. So he does kind of fall back a little bit, and it does kind of suck. But all in all, he is actually, aside from the crotch piece, he's actually a really decent figure. I do like the look of him. I just wish that would have slid up a little bit, and then maybe the backpack would have been hanging over his head. I wouldn't have mind. I wouldn't have cared that much for that. But like I said, for a figure that can transform into a foot and a hand at the same time, there's some pretty good engineering going on in there to keep it this clean. And so far, like I said, with all the other ones, they are really clean too. So on we go. Alright, now we have Decepticon Vortex. He is awesome. I like him. Let's get on that head sculpt real quick. Look at that. That's a fabulous head sculpt for this guy. It's very beautiful. It's dead on to the mold. If you remember the old mold for Vortex, it was really nice. And it's pretty much dead accurate. Obviously, he has head articulation. He has elbow and shoulder and bicep swivel. Very nice. He does have this over here for his arm that doesn't swing all the way around, but it's kind of nice that he has that blade there. And obviously he can hold one of his weapons. You can stick the other weapon in his hand, but it's only if you really want to. He does have a waist swivel because of transformation, but it does actually work for a waist swivel. And knee joints, obviously, and then he's got gigantic feet, so that he just stands up, no problem. And like I was saying, he does turn into a foot like that. That would be kind of like his foot mode if he was flipped upside down, but as you can tell, there's a hand inside that side, and then also like a blaster hand on this side, so it's actually kind of nice to see all of them, except for obviously Onslaught, have the ability to become feet or hands, because that's the way the old G2 and RID, Ruination, and just basically all the Ruination and G2 Bruticus's and all the Bruticais, yes, all the Bruticais together. And yeah, this is probably a really nice mold. It's really clean. Probably one of my third favorite molds out of the whole bunch. I really like him. He's actually really nice. And last but not least, we come to one of my most favorite pieces of Bruticus, at least as far as robot mode goes. And vehicle mode, I guess. In all reality, he is one of my favorites. It's Blastoff, looking freaking fabulous. I love this look of him. He's got this Ultra Magnus-y, Bumblebee-looking face sculpt. It's very nice. It's very sexy looking. He's got a really nice, clean silhouette. Out of all the figures, this one turned out really, really nice. The shoulder pads do not bother me at all. It adds this certain aesthetic to the character that actually makes me smile. I really do like it. Remember the old Vortek had like little cone hands? Well, this guy doesn't have little cone hands. He has perfectly fine, normal, round, punchy fists, and I love that. Punchy fists for the wind. And in all reality, this guy is probably one of the stronger ones out of them all. Just because of his sheer ability to transform into almost a complete actual deluxe figure with no complication of limited movements. This is the only part that bothers me, is this whole arm joint. But even at that, it does not bother me to go, oh, poopy on it. It's a terrible toy. Why, Hasbro, why? No, I think it's a really innovative joint, and if they worked on it a little bit, they could make it perfect. But I suppose you don't want too much articulation up in the joints here, because if you did have too much articulation, then his arms would be all over the frickin' place, and you wouldn't want that. Obviously, he comes with his blasters too, which he is armed with. Very nice. And I like how they're really just trying to keep this Bruticus like the original. Very nice. Kudos, Hasbro. Next up, we are going to basically get all the pieces into their final limb, and we are going to assemble Bruticus, take a final look at him, and wrap up the review. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Peace. Ninjas, Geijo back with all the parts transformed, so we can get this bad boy into Bruticus mode, so we can get him into Bruticus mode, obviously. So what we're going to do is basically transform him the way he comes on the packaging, or how they show him in the directions. So we'll get him all arranged here. And then basically all you do is just slide the pegs into the port, and it should lock together absolutely tightly. Make sure it gets in there properly. Okay, we got those. And then now for the arms. Oh. Boy, this one's a hell of a lot harder to get in than the Power Core Combiner. I mean, she's just fighting me all the way. At least this one is. Oh, get in there. There we go. I could see some of these pieces of plastic flaps are on like springs or something. So that's always nice, I guess. Okay, so there we go. I got Bruticus now. Alright. Alright. So let's zoom up. And there you have your G2 Bruticus in robot combined mode. And he looks awesome. He's freaking huge though. I mean, he is definitely taller than my Ruination. And as you can tell, there's his face sculpt, really nice. Screams Bruticus, hardcore. You can see there's Blastoff's arm. He's kind of got like an ape arm going on there. Such like that. And there's his other arm, Vortex. And then his legs with Swindle and Brawl. Very nice. And he is a very nice combiner. He's got all these nice rainbowy, awesome colors and stuff like that. Very bright, and it stands out completely, so I definitely like this. If you guys have a chance to pick up the exclusive Amazon / Big Bag Toy Store or like multi-exclusive Bruticus, I would totally recommend picking him up if you can find him. But we still have one more thing to do. and that's to build his gun. So what we do is we start off with the big purple blaster. So there's his entire gun with all the weapons combined together, and it was just like that in the G2 one or the RAD one or whichever one. And you can put the gun over here in his folded up hand if you want to. He can move his arm like that, so he can hold out his gun. It is really floppy because, I mean, it's just a lot of plastic moving around into this figure. Obviously he can hold it with his other hand too. Let's see, let's throw it in this hand. Now, as you probably notice, I am turning his arms that way because these joints will loosen up over time. So I know for a fact that if I don't, be careful and turn them that way, that they will fall apart and they will no longer hold Bruticus together, and I don't want that, because I want him to stay complete as to the best of his abilities. Obviously, but his arms are slipping. You get that pegged in back there. Alright, then you just kind of, yeah, like you said, you just rotate it right there at the rotator and such. So like I said, there is a difference between the two arm lengths. It's not that bad. I wouldn't complain about it that much. There is a couple transformations people have posted online from the Comic-Con version of this to change some stuff up, and it looks really promising because it does kind of like get his arms a little shorter and brings him more into perspective. So that's actually really, really cool. And you can also you can arm him with just certain weapons and stuff too if you want to. You don't have to give him the bug cannon. And then also, I'll just do this because it makes sense. If I can figure out where the peg is for it. So just peg this into his back. And there you go. That is Bruticus, with his little cannons above his head and everything, looking all fabulous and stuff, looking all awesome, looking all crazy cool. And then you can also combine his blasters again into a different giant blaster, or you can just give him just his gun and call it a day, man, because this is a big toy. It has a lot of stuff to it. It is functionally an interesting combiner, has a lot more hooby-wobby, what's-its all over the place, as opposed to the old combiners, which you just kind of more or less pull, push, and that's it for the transformation. So this is Gage with Generation 2 Fall of Cybertron Bruticus. And I'm going to get some close-ups of this guy at the end. And thanks, guys, for sticking around through the whole video. I'm glad you enjoyed this. This is a really cool toy. I'm definitely going to keep this guy into my collection. As far as all of the above Transformers that I would keep, this would be definitely one of them. This guy, he's really cool. I wanted one of these when I was a kid and Generation 2 came out, but he was really expensive to get all 5 of them to put together, so I never ended up getting him. I got him later on as Ruination, which was really cool, but that was way later on when RID came out. This is Gage-O with another review. Close-ups at the end. Peace out, guys.